All right, let's just jump right in with a wild idea. What if the stars you see in the night sky? What if they weren't just giant burning balls of gas? What if they were actually alive? Today, we're diving into a really fascinating cosmology that might just change the way you look at, well, everything.
No, really, think about it for a second. What if every single one of those little points of light was more than a distant sun? What if they were conscious, powerful beings, maybe even watching us from way out there in the cosmos? Okay, so this extraordinary claim comes from a place called the Macy Afterlife Beacon website. It's a site that presents this really unique cosmology. And today, we're going to dig into what they have to say about a group of super powerful cosmic beings that they call the Seven.
So, who are the seven? First things first, right? According to the Beacon website, these aren't just random beings. They're described as a kind of cosmic delegation specifically assigned to our planet, to Earth. And the source material makes it clear these aren't your average spiritual entities. We're talking about beings with almost unlimited understanding, forgiveness, just incredible power, wisdom, and goodness. Oh, and get this, they're also sometimes called the rainbow people because they apparently give off this amazing colorful aura.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting. The website draws a line connecting this idea of the seven to figures you've probably heard of. They're saying these are the same beings known all across the world in different cultures. Like the seven archangels, the saptarishis in Hinduism, the seven Hathors in Egypt. The list goes on. So you can get a feel for their vibe. The Macy Afterlife Beacon website actually shares what it says are direct messages from them. And this one quote really captures their perspective on us. They say, "We understand you and love you in spite of your weaknesses. In this life, you will always remain children with the dreams of titans." Kind of powerful, right? Which, of course, brings us to the big question. Okay, so what's their mission? Why are they here? What do they want for humanity? Well, the website says their whole goal is to help us achieve something called a harmonic unity of mind. And this mission, it plays out on 3 different levels. So astronomically, they're pushing us to see the universe as this bigger, multi-dimensional place. Globally, they're trying to get us to focus on the big problems, war, taking care of the planet. But, and this is key, it all starts on the personal level. The Beacon website is really clear that real change has to begin with each of us, as individuals choosing what they call a path of decency. Okay, so you might be thinking, if they're so powerful, why not just snap their fingers and fix everything? Well, the website explains it's not that simple. Their interventions are usually pretty subtle. Why? Because they can't really vibe with what the site calls our scrappy dualistic nature. That human tendency to see everything as a fight, good versus evil. So they have to kind of operate from a spiritual distance. And that means the ball is in our court. We have to be the ones who become receptive to their help. The Beacon website says there are 2 main ways to do this. First, as a way of life, just living a good, moral life sort of tunes you to their frequency. And second, you can do it in the moment, through deep meditation or really heartfelt prayer, basically sending out a spiritual flare. But while their help is often subtle, the source material does point to 3 specific times when they can intervene directly. The first is with that heartfelt prayer we just mentioned. It apparently creates a special vibration that opens a door for them. The second is at the end of someone's life. They're said to show up to comfort people, not to judge them. And the third is at the end of an epic, a major era in history. They step in to guide humanity through the rough patches, which is something they apparently promised they'd do a long, long time ago. And when they talk about prayer, it's not what you might think. It's so much bigger. Check out this quote from the Macy Afterlife Beacon website. "Prayers need not be spoken out. These are prayers too, when you pet a dog, when you smile at a child, when you are happy about the color of a flower. So any simple act of joy or kindness, that's a prayer." All right, let's pull back for a second and look at the big picture. To really get all this, you have to understand the universe as the website presents it. And it's a cosmos that's buzzing with different dimensions and levels of existence. The source material basically lays out 7 levels. Down here at level 1, well, that's us, material beings. Levels 2 through 4 are astral spirits, which still have a kind of human-like form, just more refined. Then you get to levels 5 and 6, and you're talking about pure energy beings. And then at the very top, levels 6 and 7, you have these brilliant star-like beings of pure light. And boom, there it is.
That's the connection back to the question we started with. The Beacon website is proposing that what we see as stars are actually these level 7 light beings. They just appear to us as burning balls of gas because their real nature is something our eyes and telescopes just can't pick up.
So, the million-dollar question is, what proof is there? What evidence does the website offer for a claim this big? Well, it puts forward 3 things that it calls compelling evidence that stars really are conscious.
Okay, so first, the website says that a lot of successful spirit communication seems to require favorable constellations, hinting that the stars are actively involved. Second, it talks about a spirit planet called Eden that's kept alive by 3 suns, and those suns are believed to be higher beings. And third, they point to the famous miracle of the sun at Fatima, Portugal, back in 1917. And you have to hear this quote from a science professor who was actually there. He reported that he, quote, saw the sun and felt it to be a living body. It looked like a glazed wheel made of mother of pearl. He didn't just see something weird in the sky, he felt it was alive. For the Beacon website, an account like that is a huge piece of the puzzle. All right, so where does all this lead? How can we actually forge a closer connection with these beings? According to the source material, if we, as humanity, want a closer rapport with the 7, there are 2 big conditions that have to be met. The first is on us. We need to cultivate a more refined human nature. And that's a personal quest, right? It's about spiritual refinement, stepping back from all the earthly drama. And the second condition, we need a better sense of the cosmos itself, to really grasp that the universe isn't just dead, empty space, but that it's vibrant, conscious, and totally alive.
And this right here is a really crucial point. The website stresses that this journey isn't about saving humanity as a collective group, which it actually calls incorrigible. No, the focus is squarely on the individual's path. It's about you taking on that personal quest for spiritual refinement, maybe with a small group of like-minded people.
So we're going to leave you with one last, really provocative thought from all this material we've looked at. The Macy Afterlife Beacon website suggests that our own sun is a living, conscious body. So what if it was? I mean, really, think about that. What would that mean for us, for science, for our entire understanding of our place in the universe?